Welcome to another episode of It's Settled, the Ametros Podcast, where you'll hear authentic stories of overcoming adversity after a life-changing injury and how injury survivors, members, and industry experts are making a difference. I'm Andrea Mills, Chief Client Officer at Ametros.
And I'm John Kane, Senior Vice President of Strategy. If today's episode inspires you, please subscribe and leave a review to help inspire more listeners facing similar situations. Now, it's settled. Let's get on to the episode and explore the human side of workers' comp and insurance claims.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to a special episode of It's Settled. Today, I'm joined with my current co-host, John Kane, with some news, and a new co-host that'll be joining us. But I'd like to say, after many years of working with John as a client, but also as a colleague and coworker, that John is retiring, and it's very sad. And when I took the podcast over last year, I thought, what a great co-host to have in John Kane. He's been awesome this past year and can't believe he's going to retire, but totally understand that he has put in his time in the workers' comp space and his time here at Ametros. So, John, we're so sad to hear that you're leaving us.
Well, Andrea, appreciate you as a co-host as well as my boss. You've been awesome to work with and really appreciate the opportunity to work at Ametros. It's something that, I feel very passionate about, working with the injured workers post-settlement, helping them through the complexities of Medicare. And also, saving Medicare some money there on the back end. And hopefully when I reach 65, which isn't too long, that Medicare will be around.
Yeah. How have you thought about your retirement and how have you come to the conclusion that you're ready for it?
Well, I'm still in denial. No,
Same over here.
I have been planning for it. Actually, one of my first jobs out of college was a financial planner. So, I have Series 7 license, and one of the things I would tell the listeners is certainly save early, save often, building up if you have a 401k, try and max it out. There might be some inconvenience there with, maybe vacations, but you can retire and retire comfortably. So just looking forward to, the transition and, planning out what my day might look like. One of the things I want to do, is a little bit of travel, maybe improve on my golf game.
Awesome. I love that. Do you have a, fond memory at your time with Ametros or a very fond memory at your time with Liberty Mutual that you would love to share with our listeners of your, someone you mentored or something that was impactful to you or something that you learned?
I think certainly building out Liberty's program, their Medicare compliance program, pretty much all three aspects of Medicare compliance, your conditional payments, Section 11 reporting, and MSAs. One of the things that I think I enjoyed the most was, having the Chairman's Award, which is the highest award at Liberty, given to three of my employees, and only like 10 people out of 60,000 get that award, each year. So that was pretty significant. With Ametros, I love educating people. I just came back from a conference where we had both defense attorneys as well as injured workers attorneys, speaking about the benefits of professional administration and some of the challenges that, the injured worker faces if they choose to self-administer.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always so rewarding for you to see your teammates excel in their careers and get that award. That's really cool. And I love that you continue to share the message of professional administration And it's so important with your Medicare background and the things that you've seen, and how we do really support the injured worker. And reflecting on the podcast, has there been a favorite memory that you have when we've been hosting the podcast together?
Really talking to, each of the guests. We've had guests that are members where we've helped them, post settlement, as well as industry experts, and we appreciate, everyone that's participated. But listening to the stories of the injured workers and their recovery, resilience, it's really been inspirational. Um, we've had Jeremy. Jeremy was a former police officer, paraplegic, and just listening to what they've done post injury, and their recovery experience, and just getting up each day and having a positive attitude. I think that was definitely impactful.
Yeah, their resiliency and positivity is, really hits home. And when you think you're having a bad day, they may be having a worse day, but they don't ever let it show. I really like that about them as well. Um, Anything specific you might miss about Ametros?
um, I would say the people, including you. It's a great environment, great culture. um, I'll miss helping injured injured workers transition. I mean, our as a company, we help injured workers make healthcare easier, and we really do. Um, I if I had a workers' compensation claim that I settled out with medical, I wouldn't choose to self-administer. I don't do my own taxes. I could. I could probably also self-administer. I would just choose not to. So again, appreciate what we do at Ametros. And it's continuous education. So hopefully, I'm going to still be, have some industry presence, and through MSPN, and um, continue to promote professional administration.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, John, for everything you've done for our organization and your contributions to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate working at Ametros, and I look forward to my retirement. I'd like to introduce the new co-host, Melissa Coleman. She runs our marketing team. She's completely awesome, and she has a beautiful voice too.
Thank you.
Melissa.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Sad to see you go, for sure. Big shoes to fill.
Really, totally agree with that. Melissa, so excited to have you join me as the co-host in our next round of podcast episodes. Do you mind introducing yourself to our listeners and giving a little bit of background on your career path and your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So as John mentioned, I'm Melissa Coleman. I'm our Senior Vice President of Marketing at Ametros. I've been with Ametros for just about 9 years now. I actually started as our first marketing employee back when we were a 30-person startup, and I've really grown with Ametros as the company's grown. I think our marketing team is now 11 team members, so super excited to see the growth there. Ametros hired me right out of college, so I interned at a few places like Harvard Medical School and the Boston Bruins, but this was like my first big girl job out of college, and really have loved the company, loved the people, and have been here ever since. I'm super passionate about, things like I'm very involved in the Alliance of Women in Workers' Compensation, involved with Kind Souls Foundation. So really a lot of industry causes are really important to me, and as well as Kids Chance of America, and, on some of the state levels too. So where I can be involved and volunteer in the industry, that's really important to me as well. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome.
Oh, and I have a 1.5-year-old daughter who takes up a lot of my time. She's a little crazy right now, but she's so fun.
Awesome. Shout out Lila. So what excites you about joining our podcast?
Yeah. So I guess my team has really been kind of behind the scenes of the podcast for the last few years. So I'm actually really excited to be joining on this side of the podcast rather than behind the scenes. I'm really excited to kind of speak to clients and injured workers and some of our members. My team hosts our annual Vision Days, which is where we kind of get our entire company out in person. And we always have a member attend and speak to our team. And that is always the most moving and impactful part of the event. And I feel like hearing the injured workers on this podcast tell their stories has always been incredibly moving. And I'm really excited and honored to be kind of part of that storytelling.
Amazing. Anything you hope to bring to future podcast episodes? Do you have any ideas?
I think like creativity and storytelling, like everyone knows I love a theme. So maybe some theme episodes. I really love people and I'm definitely an extrovert and I love to ask questions. So hopefully some of that, definitely getting into people's stories, but maybe some career advice as well, so that our listeners in their own careers, have some tidbits to take away too.
Amazing. Well, thank you, John, so much. Again, I'm in denial about your retirement, but I'll keep you on the line as long as possible.
Well, thank you. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Michaela, who's our producer of the podcast. You've done an awesome job. Thank you.
Shout out, Michaela.
Yeah. Great job, Michaela. Well, again, John, thank you so much. And Melissa, excited to do this next round of podcasts with you and be on this journey with you. Not only as a co-host of the podcast, but our continued journey professionally with Ametros. It's been great working with you over, the last 7+ almost 8 years that I've been here, and can't wait to keep going and doing more.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to It's Settled, the Ametros podcast. Find us on major streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Your review means a lot to us. It helps us share these inspiring stories with more listeners. For more information about Ametros, please visit our website at ametros.com. That's AMETROS.com.
Join us in our next episode for more uplifting stories. It's settled. On to the next time. Stay inspired and continue making positive impact.